remember that Nephrite's always in on the local gossip. So
That's true. He's just like, guys, I love the idea that he's like telling the stars, like, check it out. I got him. I'm on top of this time.
I found the next big thing.
Yes. He's like one of those people that's like, what is it? They're like always pushing the hustle. He's got the hustle.
Yes. Yeah.
Up and coming.
All right. Well, welcome to Sailor Moon Therapy Hour. I'm Audrey.
I am Alison. And we are not therapists. We just watch anime.
And talk.
And talk. We are exploring the dark depths and traumas of our past, namely the ancient Sailor Moon original dub, as well as the more recent and hopefully a little more accurate to the source material sub. Mm-hmm. And kind of seeing what sort of repressed memories they drudge up for us.
None for me in this episode.
You know what? I think you're about right. Although, man, every time I watch the dub, I once again go, oh God, these voices, like certain things. I'm like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting how weird certain voices are.
Yeah, some of them are so bad.
Sailor Mercury
so this episode,
and Nephrite. Oof. Nephrite more just funny. It's not bad. It's just like, I mean, every time he does his macho manly voice and I'm like, whoa.
Oh yeah, whereas he sounds just like a dude, like a normal dude.
Yeah.
In the Japanese. All right, so my episode title, I watched the sub and it was called Usagi's a Model, The Flash of the Monster Camera.
Ooh, and I forgot to look mine up, so give me a second. Sailor Moon episode list. Mine was called, I think it was called Shutterbug. But I can't find it right
now. That makes sense.
You know, I feel like Shutterbug is just like what they name things about cameras in America. Like
that is true.
Sounds like the name of a Goosebumps book. It sounds like the name of just any episode.
Or like,
yeah, it's Shutterbug. Sorry, Shutterbug.
Oh, okay. We added a little bit of a pun. Is that what we would call it?
Oh no, you've been Shutterbugged.
Taste the Shutterbug.
And I would like to say that I feel like Nephrite got a little creative. He was kind of taking a different approach this episode. Some different things happened.
Was he really?
Well, it was just odd. So I guess I'm the dub, so I can do the summary. Was this episode of course there's an evil camera, as you might guess. Mm-hmm. So there's the person of interest is a guy who's a talented photographer, up and coming, and Nephrite infects his camera with evil. He decides not to be a landscape photographer, but to be a model photographer, which I don't think are really that related of camera fields. Nope. And he throws a contest for who's going to be his next top model. And then at the contest, he's taking their pictures and sucking them into his camera to eat their soul energy or something. It's not really clear. Yeah. And then, of course, Sailor Moon shows up. He gets sucked into his own camera by the bad monster. The bad monster is sucking everyone into cameras. There's a lot of sucking action. And then they destroy the bad monster.
At the peak of their highest energy.
And, they go home. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. So that's the basic idea. What I found novel was both that the way I feel like Nephrite's completely switched from having the stars tell him who's a big deal to him telling the stars who's a big deal. And then also he used to be like, we're sucking this person's energy, but it really seemed like he was using this person to collect a bunch of other people, which is like the original dude's plan. So I was just like, we kind of branched out a little bit here. So that
is so true that you picked up on that. And then there was also something at the end when Zoe Sight shows up and Nephrite goes on this thing about how there's endless supply of energy in the world.
So I felt like he's like, I don't know, they maybe realized that just targeting one person wasn't very dramatic and exciting after a while, and they were like, all right, we gotta switch things up. So
wow,
so we start our episode with first of all, in the summary, they call him Nephlite, and this is the first time I realized that, in the English, I looked it up, they translate his name as Nephlite until, like, they said, like, year 2000 or something like that.
What?
And that may be something that they spell it that way sometimes in the Japanese.
Right.
But I mean, he's named
after
a rock.
Ours are like,
the rock is called Nephrite, so I think he's definitely meant to be Nephrite.
Wow.
So they really put a lot of
the
effort.
L's and R's are interchangeable, I think, right, in Japanese.
But I think it's pretty clear what was intended, since
yeah, but DiC doesn't care.
DiC does not care. So yeah,
it may be clear to you what was intended.
So I wanted to start
DiC,
with going Nephlite, and then I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, so we start with everyone at Serena's school talking about a cool up-and-coming young photographer named Peter, who goes to Ray's school, but I think Serena knows him. I kind of lost track of the beginning pretty quickly. And she's like, I want to go find him and get his autograph. And for some reason, she's asking Amy. So maybe he goes to Amy's school, but Amy's at her school. I was really lost for a little bit. I should have been paying more attention, but the take home was
I can actually answer that.
Okay. What's going on?
So Ray goes to an all-girls school.
Okay, so it couldn't be Ray's school then.
Right. So, but Amy does go to Serena's school. It's like they've always gone to school together, but remember, she just also
she has that other school. Yeah, so maybe
she has double school.
Yeah.
And then this guy, they realize that his school is like nearby Ray's school.
Okay, because Ray says something that I swear implied that she went to that school, and that may have been just a translation thing.
Yeah, they might have done that to make it easier, because she is weirdly like there.
Yeah, that's why I got confused, because I was like, wait, hang on, what's happening? Yeah, so Serena wants to go get his autograph or something, and she's trying to get Amy to help her out, and she's like, come on, you don't study, the test isn't until tomorrow. And Amy's like, I know, but I want a perfect score. And Serena's like, oh, that's really annoying. And then we cut to the reporters and the photography guy. I saw you roll your eyes.
First of all, such a good Amy impression.
Thank you.
Like, you really nailed the like ups and downs and like the weird old lady British thing.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Luna vibe in there too.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh.
I wonder if it's the same voice actress, actually.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. We should look that up. And hang on real fast. I'm gonna let the cat out because the cat's yelling.
Okay, then I'm gonna look it up. Okay, Amy. No, I guess it's
different.
Two different people, and they just made the same choice.
Yeah, well, high and annoying. We cut to the reporters crowding around the photography guy. There's some.
Have we talked about the photography thing yet? That he was like in a magazine?
Maybe they mentioned that when they were like, he's so cool, I want his autograph.
Yeah, so like when they're in class, they're all like looking at his photos.
I didn't see that, but I wasn't paying back.
They might have cut some of it.
Yeah.
And Serena is like, and I'm just going to keep calling her Serena instead of Usagi. She, I guess, is impressed, or I guess she's like, oh, it's so cool that we have like a celebrity in our like school district, I guess. And I'm like, man, there's just always famous celebrities in middle school.
Yeah, I noticed that. They're all conveniently like attending the school at the same age. Like,
yeah, I'm like, man, it's really talented area.
It really is. It's like why the person in the world with the most energy is always like conveniently right in town going to their school, knows them.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a middle school kid and like has won some like Japan or Tokyo photo contest for his landscape photography. And so she wants his autograph, but also I think she just thinks he's probably a cute boy as well. I think that's probably like the subtext.
In this one, they imply she knows him, which was weird.
No, she doesn't know him. So I guess that would make sense for the dub, just to like streamline things. But no, she does not know him. But she does want his autograph. Yeah. And so now we're up to speed. Yeah, but yeah, so, like he has won a contest and he's like a very young photographer.
He's being mobbed by reporters, sort of like the one tennis girl was. That's how they just show that someone's important, is that they're mobbed by reporters. And they're like, so now that you've won this award or whatever, are you still gonna, what's next for your art? Are you still only gonna do landscapes? And he's like, yeah, I think so. Because I was like, what? Do people normally just be like, no, I've decided to not do landscapes anymore?
Yeah, because like Ansel Adams like famous for his landscapes, also just wants to switch.
The Ansel Adams interview where they're like, so when are you moving on from landscapes?
Yeah, like, aren't you kind of over landscapes now, Ansel?
What's next for your art?
Aren't you gonna shoot young women now?
So Serena's like kind of coming up, and then Ray ambushes her, and this is where Ray said something that implied that this was a person at her school, which confused me. Yeah. And then Ray tells Serena, does your teacher know you're not in school? And I was like, Ray, you're not in school. What's happening here?
Wow, they really changed.
They get in an argument, and then it doesn't cut away, so it's kind of weird, but it's implied that the photography kid says, please stop arguing, you're ruining my, like, artistic vibes or whatever, and they both, like, look appalled. But since they didn't cut to him, I figured that's not what actually happened.
Weird. Okay. So first of all, Ray stops Serena, because here's the thing. Ray always knows what Serena's angle is, and she just shits on her for it. And so she's like, somebody who's never been into photography before can't just suddenly come get a photographer's autograph, which is like kind of mean, but also true.
I mean, it's like, Serena, you're just into the boy or whatever.
Exactly.
More than me.
Or
you don't like actually care about art suddenly.
Exactly.
We know you don't.
And so that's why she's blocking it. But I think that Ray is, the funny thing about Ray is, like, I think she's also always there for the same reasons. Mm-hmm.
And it's like a running joke is that she calls Serena out for doing exactly what Ray's doing, like as like a deflection tactic.
Yeah. I love Ray.
It's cute.
I know. I didn't used to love her, but now I feel like maybe it's because I'm an adult now and like I'm able to see.
I think I'm more sympathetic to teenage flaws.
Yes. Yeah. At the time, maybe it was like I saw too much of myself in there, and so like you block it out.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. But like when it's like teenage insecurity with like a mask over it, you're like, this is very cute.
Yeah. So adorable. So I can't remember the rest of their back and forth, but I'm sure we can all extrapolate that it's more of that. And then, so like they're kind of going back and forth, and then he pops up in between them in the middle, and he's like, just please stop. Because it's like Ray, I think like what they were going back and forth about is like Ray is trying to defend him and his space and like artistic integrity or something. Yeah, like she's going on and on about his art and like how Serena can't possibly understand. And so Serena is like, but I just want his autograph. This isn't that big of a deal. And so they're like going back and forth, and like Ray's kind of gatekeeping him, and he obviously doesn't care at all. He's like, just please stop yelling.
He didn't say, you're destroying my artistic vibes or whatever, which was a weird thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could kind of tie that into the monstrous version of him, who's like very obsessed with artistic vibes.
But it was just weird. Yeah, so then we cut to he's out photographing. I've suddenly forgotten how words work.
Photographing. Shutterbugging.
He's out shutterbugging and trying to take a picture of a landscape, and he almost falls down
off
like
the side of a cliff.
But Nephrite catches him. Nephrite, who I've never noticed, but his skin is like, at least in this scene, like a color that human skin is not. It's like he looks dead. I was like, it's a zombie, and then I'm like, no, it's Nephrite.
Why was his skin so weirdly gray?
It was very strange. Yeah, Nephrite saves him, doing his whole like cool rich man like vibe, and he's like, anything for the picture, I guess, with his like weird masculine dub voice. And then he touches his camera and infests it with evil, which once again, he's doing it like before, because we're about to cut to, before we get to the scene with the like spirits of the stars or whatever.
I noted, because I wrote that down, that Nephrite didn't even consult the stars first. And then I wrote, oh, never mind, because then it cuts to him talking to the stars.
We cut to the evil mansion. He's talking to the stars. Although I will point out that the way they translate it, it doesn't sound like the stars are telling him this is the person. He's got a photography book spread out. There's like a light from the stars beaming down onto it. And he says, great powers of the universe, I have found my next target. And this is the source of highest energy. I'm like, are you telling the stars now? What's happening?
Right.
So he tells the stars, like, this is the dude. I found him. The stars are like, cool.
So I couldn't tell if that was a flashback or not when I was watching. It was
possible.
Like, was this a flashback to him going after the guy?
That would make more sense because, again, like, I don't know. They're not very, but
I think we'll just have to wait.
Let's pretend it's a flashback. That
we'll have to wait for the next episode. And found this dude.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Remember that Nephrite's always in on the local gossip. So
that's true. He's just like, guys, I love the idea that he's like telling the stars, like, check it out. I found him. I'm on top of this time.
I found the next big thing.
Yes. He's like one of those people that's like, what is it? They're like always pushing the hustle. He's got the hustle.
Yes. Yeah.
Up and coming. Yeah, so then we have a short scene of Peter going crazy from the evil. And he's all like, landscapes are stupid. I'm going to do modeling. Or not, that would be cool. That would actually be cool.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
He was going to be a model. No, he needs a human model.
That's interesting because in the sub, it's so weird. Like, I'm pretty sure Nephrite on the cliffside says, like, yeah, you'll start taking pictures of young girls now. And then, like, he also says, like, in the mansion, he's like, with each young girl that he photographs, like, he'll gain more power. And it was just so creepy.
Saying young girls. I see where they came to that translation.
Yes.
It's fucking creepy.
But, like, that explains why he switched.
A little bit. Yeah, like, that he seeded that in there. That makes more sense to me. Then we have another scene of Serena, like, being like, this dude's cool. I'm gonna get he's having a modeling contest.
Yes.
And Luna, meanwhile, in the background is like, Serena, I brought you a new communicator. And Serena's not paying attention. She's like, Serena, I've given one to Ray and Amy. You guys can, communicate with each other about Sailor business. Serena's like, totally not paying attention. And then suddenly Serena's like, oh my God, I can use this to call Amy and tell her about this modeling contest, which I loved. She's like a teenage girl with a cell phone. She calls Amy, and Amy's just like, Serena, this is for Sailor communication only, and hangs up. And I was like, okay.
They like really... They made that way ruder than it needed to be.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, wow,
she does say that.
Yeah.
She does say that, but, like, there's still a little bit of back and forth where Serena's like, oh, yeah, like, there's just this modeling thing and blah, blah, blah. And, like, and Amy's like, look, I've got to finish studying for this.
I mean, even, like, I've got to finish studying makes more sense to me than just having her just be like, absolutely no conversation on there. Just like, that doesn't sound like Amy to me.
No. And Amy's, like, a sweet girl, so...
Yeah, Amy might be like, I'm sorry, I'm really busy, like, and this is really supposed to be a Sailor thing. Then Serena's like, I'll call Mars, or Ray, and then she has, like, a flashback to Ray yelling at her about, the photographer and not being in school and stuff, and she's like, never mind, I don't want a lecture from Ray.
Yeah.
So then we...
fair.
Yeah. And then we cut downstairs to apparently she's talking to her family about it, and her brother is laughing his ass off at her.
Yes.
And is incredibly mean. In a way that...
the whole family's kind of mean to her.
I mean, they often are. But I wondered about the translations. A few things he said. He said, you can't be a model. You can't even walk and chew gum at the same time. And then he says, no. You can't smile right. Remember your school picture where she apparently didn't smile? And he's like, you're going to break the lens.
Oh my God.
So he was like going hard on her.
This is all way more mean than it was.
And
I still thought it was mean.
I know. And they always translate it more mean.
Yeah. So he's just talking about how it's not like you can't just have a pretty face and a pretty body. Like modeling is more than that. And I was like, did he just compliment her?
Are you talking about Darian or her brother?
Her brother.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and he's like, like you have to be smart, and like,
ouch.
Like, I know, yeah, exactly. And so he's just talking about like, I don't know. He just
didn't go in on "You're so ugly," which was like,
no.
I hate when TV shows do this because I feel like little kids often get this thing of like, look at this ugly girl, and it's like she's not even ugly, and so it's very confusing. Yeah. Like, again, not that like, I'm not saying like here's an ugly girl, but like it's extra confusing when you're like, look how fat you are, Serena, and you're like, she's literally not
fat.
So
yeah, like at all.
She's not even chubby. Like it's often canonically implied that she's chubby, but she's not drawn chubby, so it's very confusing.
Yeah, like there's only one chubby girl in the entire show so far, and she's only showed up to be the butt of a joke.
Yeah. So, like, I hate when they do that because I feel like it's, like, gaslighting children. Like,
yeah.
Your face will break cameras. And it's like, she literally just looks normal.
No, and, like, the whole point of what he, and then what, like, a lot of other people say in this is that modeling, and you know what, it's true. Like, I've actually known, I guess, just one model, but, like, it's more than just being pretty. I've also seen a lot of episodes of America's Next Top Model.
I actually really liked that. They didn't do that here, but Darian later talks a little bit about modeling, and I really liked that they implied that modeling was like a skill and a required hard work, and I didn't expect them to go there because they'd been so dismissive of like girl stuff so often. I thought they'd just
I'm surprised they translated
I actually was shocked that they were like, modeling actually is hard work and it requires a lot of skill and effort and stuff, and I was like, oh my god. I didn't expect that. So that was nice. Yeah, the mom.
Yeah, and then her mom agrees.
In this one, her mom says, she's like, tell him I can be a model. And she goes, you can be whatever you want as long as you don't borrow my clothes. And then she's like, you're so mean. And I was like, what?
Oh, no, she agrees with the brother that, like, Serena won't be good at it.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Andrew, who is encouraging of her. Andrew at the video store.
The only one in the world.
I get why she likes this boy. He is so nice to her all the time.
Yeah.
He's just, like, very supportive, and so few other people are.
Right. Literally nobody else.
Damien's in the store, so while Andrew's encouraging her, Damien comes out being, like, an ass, like he always is. And again, like, I think, they translated it more mean than it needed to be. He said, you're gonna fall off the stage, braying like a donkey, ha, Serena the hyena. And I was like, what the hell, Darian? Take it down a notch.
Holy shit. Right? That's not what he said. I'm trying to remember what he said, but it definitely wasn't that.
Well, again, you didn't write it down because it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, he said something like, a girl's beauty is inside. He goes on this whole, I don't know how much of this they translated, but he goes on this whole speech about, you know, how the beauty is inside. And it's about, like, you know, if she's willing to stand up for what's right and, like, all of this really nice stuff.
Oh, my God. I like that a lot.
It was really nice.
He gave the speech about how no, modeling requires hard work and you have to, like, show up on time and all these. He gives a whole speech about that and basically implies that she can't because she's not, like, responsible and smart and all that. Sounds like he gave the brother speech.
Interesting.
And then he says, tell me if he said this. He said, I did some modeling right after high school to pay for tuition. And I was like, whoa.
Nope.
And that's why he knows all that. So I know it's hard work, and I don't think you have what it takes.
Nope, that's not what he said at all.
They didn't add in a modeling backstory for Damien.
No, and in fact, like,
or Darian.
So before he goes into the whole speech about how, like, the beauty is inside, blah, 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 he is making fun of the photographer because, you know, she's obviously a little bit infatuated with him. And she's like, yeah, he's like, because I think, didn't she already get in to the contest at this point?
It's
I
unclear.
Can't remember.
They haven't shown the contest, but I mean, it was weird. So I'll take it.
Yeah, I can't remember if she's in or not, but he was like, it looks like they're just taking anybody, and that means that he's, like, not even a second-rate photographer. He's a third-rate photographer.
And to be fair, he's not wrong. They are taking everyone, which is a weird sign. Like, that's a red flag.
Well, yeah, that's why he's like, yeah, like, so that means that he's not a very good photographer because he's not being selective about his models.
Yeah.
So, and she takes offense to that, but then later she uses that.
I love that whole conversation so much more because one, the whole, like, beauty's on the inside, like, is a, you know, and fighting for what's right, that, like, ties into the whole Sailor Moon thing. And then two, like, the idea that it's a little bit rooted in jealousy with the whole, like, you're interested in this boy, like, that ties into the whole dynamic. And then three, the whole, like, and this is a red flag, but because of the way I've warned you, I sound like an asshole and you're not listening to me. Like, all of that is so much more interesting than, like, just, like, telling her she's stupid and, like, she doesn't have what it takes. And then, like, I did like the modeling backstory. That's canon for me from now on.
I mean, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
He was also wearing sunglasses inside while playing a video game.
I love him. He's such a douchebag. So when
they cut... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
When she leaves... Andrew's like, you know, sometimes you're really mean. Why are you so hard on that girl? And he says something like, I don't know. I don't mean to be. Something just comes over me when I'm around her. And, like, I just get this feeling. And he, like, I was like, but considering he'd just been such an asshole, I was like, I feel like you're implying, like, oh, I don't know. I didn't like it in connection with what he just said. It was like,
that's also not.
It was kind of like I just pull her pigtails because I like her, but like you were just like a total asshole. Like this isn't like something comes over me and I'm a huge asshole to her.
Right. I'm like, wow, way to excuse emotional abuse.
Yeah, it was weird.
So Andrew says something more along the lines of like, she's not a child anymore. Like you don't need to be so patronizing or something like that, and like mean. So it's like close to what they had him say. And then Darian is like, yeah, I don't know why we just always end up arguing with each other. I guess it's just not meant to be.
Okay, that's so much better than like I fight with her because I have this, I connect to her on a deep level. They're like, what the hell? No,
he's just more like, I don't know what it is.
I don't know why I keep fighting with her. Like, that does seem to be, they just strike sparks, and that's kind of cute. He's also, like, again, less of an asshole in the sub, so it's more cute fighting and less...
Everybody's less of an asshole in the sub.
The other thing I wanted to notice is they often do, like, a transition where they draw, like, a tiara across the screen.
Yeah.
And this time when they did the transition, it just happened to line up over his head, so it looked like he had a little tiara on, and I thought that was really funny. Like,
I don't understand. I think that they do that to hide
when I look at her, like a tiara appears on his head, and I was like, okay, have fun, bud.
Oh, man.
Then we cut to the brother again. He's telling her she would be great as a photography model in a zoo. And then the mailman drives by on a motorcycle and goes, Serena, some mail for you, and hands it to her and drives off, and I was like, wow, that was very good service.
Because Shingo is not making fun of her again. Well, he is making fun of her, but he's like, because she's just kind of like standing outside the house, and he was like, I can't remember what he says first, but he's basically like, I know, like, she's trying to pretend like she's just casually hanging out, and he's like, you're waiting for the mailman to see if you got into the contest. And she's
again,
like,
makes more sense than just telling her she should be in a zoo.
Yeah.
I did like that the mailman knew her by name, handed her the mail. She was like, oh my God, I'm in. And I was like, that was some good service.
Yeah, because he was like, you're not going to get in. Like, and then immediately click to.
And then we cut to her. She's like, again, practicing balancing books on her head so she can walk gracefully. Luna's just like, maybe you should read those books. So she's like being very dramatic. And Luna's just like, oh God, what's happening? They say that we need a bathing suit for this contest, which again, like, man,
red flag.
Yeah, I was like, red flag. She's like, good, I already have a bathing suit, but she pulls it out and it's, she's like, oh no, I forgot the mothballs, and it's apparently, I guess, full of holes, although honestly it looked like it's covered in stains. Also,
it was holes.
What are swimsuits made of? Because moths eat, like,
spandex.
Wool. Moths don't eat spandex.
She doesn't say moths in the stuff. She does say the bugs got to it, so I don't know if they have different bugs.
They don't eat spandex is plastic. There aren't any bugs that eat plastic. I just want to point that out. Like, moths eat like animal products, like wool, maybe cotton, but usually not. So I was like, I don't know what the swimsuit's made of, but like,
convenient. Don't cross the entomologist, Sailor Moon.
Sorry, I have feelings about this. No one puts mothballs in their bathing suits. That would be weird.
I think it was just suggested that, like, she had it shoved way under, like, the bottom of all of her closet stuff.
So she's like, uh-oh. Then we cut to they're actually at the contest. There's maybe some introduction to it. They're walking through the hallways. She's got Luna in a little basket because that's how she keeps Luna in places, and I love that. They're talking about odds and ends. So there's some odds and ends stuff. She runs into Molly and someone I didn't recognize, but maybe one of their friends from school.
It was Miss Haruna.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
The teacher?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. That's so much funnier. I didn't catch that. That's amazing.
And that's also why her swimsuit was a little bit sexier as well. Because she's an adult.
Yeah. So they're like, do you know where we're going? And they're like, oh, we're gonna, take turns, showing up for the photography. And then Molly and Molly and Miss Haruna change into their swimsuits and come out, and there's this running thing where Miss Haruna goes, you gotta suck it in, and they go, right, and they make like weird faces, and I was like, is that what's actually happening? Because it was translated kind of odd.
Yeah, she said, I mean, it's kind of close, I guess, but she was like, oh, I think I definitely put on some weight. And then it's like a running thing where they're like, oh, we definitely put on some weight.
They don't just keep going, gotta suck it in.
Yeah, I think that's funnier, actually.
It is actually funnier, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that the way Molly was making faces, like, didn't really make sense with what they were saying, so that yours makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Serena, where's your swimsuit? And she's like, don't laugh. And she's got like a pink swimsuit on that's covered in like giant bows.
Really cute, though.
It was very funny. I just want to know where she got that.
No, she covered the holes with bows.
Oh, I didn't gather that. That makes so much more sense. I was like, well, why'd you buy a swimsuit covered in bows? But I didn't. She doesn't have
money.
That's very cute. That's very cute.
Yeah. So she's like, don't laugh. So she like shows it to Molly, and Molly's like, oh, it's so cute. And in Serena's head, she's thinking, I covered all the holes with bows.
Okay, so that's cute. Sweet. Also, Molly did say something insulting about the suit. I didn't write it down, but Molly did not like the
suit. She liked it in the sub, so
maybe she did say it's cute, but she said something that implied or she said something like it's not that. Oh no, she goes, the swimsuit's not really that important.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is though.
They always go for the burn instead of like the more interesting interaction. God, and they did not explain the bows, which I love. I covered the holes in bows. That makes more sense to me. They didn't explain that. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, because she's a kid. She doesn't have money to go buy a new swimsuit.
Well, that's why I was looking, why would you buy this swimsuit? And where do you get a swimsuit that's covered in bows? Like, this makes so much more sense to me.
And that's why, because Luna steals a bow later.
We see the photographer guy being crazy with his models. He's like, yes, stand together, all 5 of you. Let me capture you with my camera. And then they dissolve into dust because he's like captured them with his camera, quite literally. And I go, oh my God, I wrote down, he is eating people with his camera.
Well, they don't dissolve into dust. They get
not dust. They dissolve.
Photos. Yeah.
Apparently into the camera. It's unclear.
Yeah. Also, I just want to point out that first. So the first group of girls that he's photographing, shutterbugging.
That he's shutterbugging.
The first that he's shutterbugging is, and Luna sees it. They never come back.
Oh shit!
Because you know at the end, like it shows
everybody
else coming back. Yeah, not them.
Well, you know they got digested. It took too long. They were digested.
Yeah. They're just missing forever. There's also like this running thing with him where in the Japanese he's yelling, art is an explosion.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He says it multiple times because he's like really into art now.
He just keeps going, show me your energy or something like that. Like,
no, art is an explosion.
And I want to say that when Luna, who has seen this shutterbugging, says they disappeared. I'll bet it's the niggerverse. And I was like, thank you, Luna.
No shit, Sherlock.
Good job.
I will point out.
Good deduction skills.
So I'll bet that they just turned this into more Luna burns. But when she's first walking in with Serena, Luna is saying what she's talking about is like, I'm getting some bad vibes from this area. And so when she runs off and she sees, she's like, oh no, like it is. Like I was right, you know.
She did say something like, she said to Sailor Moon, I don't know about this, I'm getting bad vibes. So something like that.
Oh, okay. So she does say it. All right.
She was like that photographer, something. I didn't really, it was like just usual.
Yeah.
So she goes to tell Serena that some people have just been eaten by a camera. And she's like,
does not
it's the Negaverse, I'll bet my whiskers. And I'm like, I mean, again, yes, we know, Luna. That said, for all I'm like, duh, Luna, people disappeared into a camera. It's the Negaverse. Serena is just like, not on the same page. Serena's like, no, everything's fine. And I'm like, Serena, someone got eaten by a camera. Can you please focus?
She is ignoring it, for sure.
So somehow Serena's dismissive of people getting eaten by a camera.
Yeah.
So,
which is kind of a first.
So she calls Amy on the communicator. I can't remember why. Because she didn't.
So, okay. So Luna steals
a bow. And then Luna
steals
steals her bow. I think she calls Amy before Luna steals the bow. She does. I don't remember why, though.
Does she? I think that she steals it to, like, snap her out of, like, her one-track mind.
And then she goes off chasing the bow.
Yeah, and so now it makes more sense for you probably because there's a hole now in her
I also was like,
suit.
I was like, you don't need that bow, Serena. Why are you chasing it? But yeah,
on the contrary, she does need it, and so that's why she chases her. Now they're in the hallway calling on the communicator, and then Serena's just going on to Amy about like, come down to this hotel, watch me model, and then Luna's like, no. Like, there's a negaverse. Like, people got sucked into a camera.
So Luna's like, come on, come see this. And then Luna steals her bow. She has to go running off chasing the bow. And Luna, like, leads her into the room where she sees Molly and Miss Haruna and the next group of girls. And she's like, no, I'm never going to be a photographer. I'm supposed to be up there. But I'm not. And then the guy goes, give me lots of energy, girlies. Which is just a sentence I never wanted to hear said.
I mean, at least he's also a middle school student, so that's less... I mean,
one of them's a teacher, so... I
just love that Miss Haruna's there.
I love Miss Haruna. I didn't remember her being, like, at all. I mean, I just didn't remember at all, and I love that she's, like,
I just love that she's in everything.
Exactly. She's always there. I love her.
I also love... Can I just stay on Miss Haruna for one hot second? Which is... I just want to say that, like, I love that, you know, it's a running joke that she can't get a man... or whatever, right? And that's what she wants. But then she's got a really sexy swimsuit on, and she's the best model out of all of them. Like, she is rocking it.
Yes. She's
just
great.
Like, how come she doesn't have a man yet?
She should have all the men. I loved that episode where everyone was, like, hyperactive, and she's like, I'm gonna have 9 dinner dates tonight. And I was like, good for you, hun.
I actually do have a friend. I mean, she's in a long-term relationship now. But when she was dating, she would book like 3 dates in a day because she's like, well, I only have to get ready once. And then she does like a breakfast or like brunch and then like a coffee and then a dinner or drinks. That's kind of
adorable.
I know.
It's like not my way of going about things. My way is to just never have dates.
Exactly. I'm like, that all sounds exhausting.
Exactly. I'm like, I stay home and play computer games and it's super entertaining. It's a nice afternoon.
I'm like... Because to me, that sounds like 3 chances to be disappointed by conversation.
Just 3 chances to have social anxiety.
Yeah.
But, you know, have fun. Suit yourself. Some people like socialing more than I do.
Yeah. It's always so strange to me.
What was it? We were joking about how instead of introvert and extrovert, we should call it like asocial and pansocial or something like that.
I like that.
So now Serena sees people vanish in person, including her friend and teacher. And now she's like, oh, it's the Negaverse. And I'm like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
I also wrote down the bad guy was doing some crazy wild posing with his camera with like weird, like dramatic poses. I was like, I don't know what you're doing, bud.
Art is an explosion.
So then Serena, he like points the camera at her. I can't remember if she's turned to Sailor Moon yet. No, she hasn't. So he points the camera at her, which is like absolutely what you do not want to happen when you've just seen the camera eat people. And she just stares it down and she goes, don't you even think of pushing that button. And he goes, why not? And I was like, I don't know, bud. And she goes, the Peter I knew would never disappear people with his camera. And I was like, what is happening right now?
Oh, so it is a cool moment because she's like, I can't remember exactly what she said. It's basically along the same lines. She doesn't say like, don't even think about it. Like she doesn't even comment on him pointing a camera at all at her. Like she literally just stares it down and is like, you know, that's not cool. Like it's really unforgivable what you're doing.
Staring it down is cooler than her being like, don't you dare. And he'd go, why shouldn't I? And I was like, why are you listening to her?
Right.
I mean,
it's more like he's taken aback by the fact that she's just like standing and staring it down. Yeah.
No, that's cool. I do like it. That's cool. I was like, this is both very dumb, but very cool.
Yeah.
So then she transforms into Sailor Moon. Some of the cutting through here was just weird. I think I sent you a thing where like when she's doing that, like by the power of the moon, like they do this like triple zoom out where it keeps like it's like the camera's skipping. It's very weird.
I think they're trying to make it more exciting, probably, but it's already exciting.
It just looks like they've like had a film error. So then he's like taking pictures and like they're like launching like bullets out of his camera, and she's dodging them and flipping around, which is very cool.
It was awesome.
And she kicks him in the head, and he falls, and it was so cool. I was like, whoa, she took him out by herself.
Yeah, did she announce Sailor Moon Kick?
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cute. She named her own kick.
And yeah, so she knocks him out, and then the camera wakes up as a monster. It had a pretty cool design, including like an eye on its hand.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
She was pretty neat.
And she immediately takes a picture of Peter with her hand and absorbs Peter. And again, once again, I was like, this is like kind of backwards from how the other monsters have worked. Usually they have, in order to manifest, they've drained all the energy out of the dude. But this one apparently, I don't know what's happening. It's just different.
So Sailor Moon calls it out of him, sort of. She's like, so she knocks him out with her kick, and then I think she's trying to get it to appear before it sucks his energy out or something. Mm-hmm. And so I guess it like hears her and appears.
Yeah, it's just, I was like, they're just kind of going off script a little this episode.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did like, don't let her take your picture, Sailor Moon. It'll be the end of you. And then she's like, yeah, and my hair is probably a mess, which I actually thought was funny.
It's kind of funny.
I did laugh at it.
I rolled my eyes just out of like, reflex, but
yeah, no, it was dumb, but I did laugh. Yeah. And then it was kind of cute. Luna is like trying to protect her and jumps in front and takes a camera, takes a shutterbug to the side and like saves Sailor Moon and like disappears. Although like the way they voice it is she goes like yeah or something, like she makes a weird like vocal cat noise that was she's like meow as she vanishes, which I thought took away some of the emotion of the scene.
Yeah.
But it was very sweet, except for the way they voiced it.
Yeah. Yeah, because then Sailor Moon's, like, upset.
Yeah, she's really upset. Yeah. And then the person's like, look, and, like, tosses her a picture of Luna and the guy. And I was like, that's fucking mean.
I know.
She's like, you can keep these. I'll keep the negatives. And I was like, damn.
That's pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Ray and Amy show up, and because she's, like, cornered Sailor Moon. And then Ray and Amy show up to save her. Which was cool. Sailor Mercury and Sailor Mars. And Sailor Mercury does her bubble fog, which I wrote down. This is like the most on point it's ever been. Like creating a fog to deal with like a camera person is like, I was like, wow, you were wildly on point today. Which is going to be ironic because this like has zero effect. It helps not at all. And it was like, so me writing down that this was finally a useful attack, completely wrong. Completely useless. Because
this is the first time they break from the kind of standard operations.
Because she does her bubble attack. Ray does her flame attack, which I've never noticed before, but also has this weird like flickery effect with the camera lens that was like giving me a seizure.
It does do, because remember she's like doing this like with her fingers and then is like calling all these words, like these Japanese words, which they always cut out of the dub. And so it usually is like flickering and then like you hear like those drums.
But it like cuts back and forth.
Yeah. So there's like fire and then her and then fire. And so she's like shooting all of these at the monster.
Anyways, the monster not only does not seem put off by the fog, but blocks every single one of the Mars scrolls they get sent at her, which we've never seen a monster do before.
I know.
Was like, damn, good job, girl. And yeah, so she shot down Mars scrolls. I wrote like I drew myself a little terrified face, impressed face. And then she fucking takes him out with her camera. She vanishes him. And I was like, damn. And Sailor Moon is like alone. And it was like, no. Oh my God. She's like, and she goes, all my friends are gone because of me. And I was like, and so she's like backing away from the monster into the wall. And I wrote down that I was like, oh, it's kind of a cool effect because like the windows or the walls are all reflective. Yeah. And like she's backed up to it, and as she backs away, she's like backing into the reflection of the monster, like into its hands, which is like a cool effect.
I didn't notice that.
They do some neat visuals.
Yeah.
But they put the reflection in on purpose because then she goes, how am I going to beat this person? And she goes, I need to get her to take a picture of herself. Once again, Sailor Moon's really smart. Yeah. We've seen it repeatedly where she comes up with clever ways to take out the bad guys.
I love this one.
This one was cool. So she's like, I need to make her take a picture of herself. Yeah. And she realizes that, again, the glass behind her is reflective. She does like, the person goes to take a picture of her. She does this awesome flip off the wall over the monster's head. And then the monster takes a picture of herself. And then for some reason the monster starts melting, which was like the most horrifying effect I've seen in Sailor Moon since that one lady's head turned around. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Grim. Like she's like dripping flesh from like her arms and her face. It was gross. Horrifying. It was horrifying.
And like the eyeball disappears because it like I think it shot itself out.
I didn't notice that.
That's so there's like a hole in her hand.
And then Sailor Moon goes, "You're moon dusted," and then she throws her tiara and moon dusts her. So I was like a little backwards, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then everyone reappears. And I would like to point out that when everyone reappears, they play a little musical note that sounded really eerily like when you find an item in Zelda. Do 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 do. I was like, we found our friends.
I don't remember if that was the case but maybe I was just so focused on the fact that I'm like,
they changed the music in the dub, so it probably was new music, and it was just very funny to me because it was like the video game found item.
I was just so focused on like. The first group of girls are gone. Like, all the previous girls are gone.
They literally show all these people showing up, but you're right. That group of girls are gone.
It's only the people that were just most immediate, like the most recent ones. So I guess they're gone forever.
You know, no one even really knew they were there in the first place except for Luna. No one will notice.
Yeah, nobody will notice.
So yeah, I guess they already got digested. And...
one thing I wrote down that we already moved past, so remember she transforms from the bathing suit, and I'm like, where was she hiding the brooch? Like, does she need the brooch to transform?
Good call. Yeah, where did that come from?
Maybe Luna... like, can she transform without it? Or
can Luna like manifest it out of the air like she's always doing with all her weird devices?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I forgot that Amy said that she was working on a program to track down the Moon Princess, and it was like, I think you said she was working on her homework, which made more sense to me.
Yeah.
But I just suddenly remembered that and I wanted to share.
Wow.
So
everybody's back.
Everyone's back. We cut to Nephrite in his like church or whatever, and there's like he's talking to Zoisite, that other bad guy.
Yeah.
But the Zoisite's face is just like filling the air, which was very confusing and unclear. Because no one's ever communicated like this before. Zoisite is now like the stars.
Well, so did they cut out the part where like he sees that the demon star has disappeared, which I guess acknowledges that is noting that the monster that he'd sent is gone, like has died.
I didn't notice that.
Okay, so he says that. Okay. So he's looking at his map of the stars, and then he hears Zoisite kind of laughing about, oh, did your little plan not work? And so then Zoisite kind of takes over the star map.
Again, like, is Zoisite the stars? Face. Like, how is Zoisite communicating through the stars? I don't know.
Well, just magic, but like, I think it makes more sense that Zoisite's like, I know that he's looking at his little star map, so let me just take over.
I will say that I'd forgotten that in the dub, they have made Zoisite a girl, and I was like, oh, a girl. Because it's very noticeable, and I haven't had a dub with Zoisite yet. So
and to recap, Zoisite is a man and is in a relationship with another man, and that is why they changed this to a woman.
And Zoisite has long hair and is therefore a girl.
There we go. But also, Nephrite has long hair.
Yeah, but Nephrite doesn't look feminine.
Right, you're right. So right. And he drives a manly penis car.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be a girl car. I will say that, this is where Nephrite, they're like, oh, you failed. And Nephrite's, but I captured 2 of them, and that proves they're not invincible, so I can take them out. Which I was like, honestly, good point.
He didn't talk about that at all.
So
in the sub. Yeah, interesting. Did they mention that Zoisite is meant to be looking for the legendary silver crystal to bring their ruler back?
I don't think they did. If they did, I missed it.
Yeah, because this is the first that I've heard of it, so this must be their way of introducing it.
They have, remember they mentioned it once before, where they just dropped it out of nowhere, and we were like, what?
Yeah.
So they're kind of weird about what their goals are, keep like kind of shifting around, and they'll occasionally mention something and then forget about it forever, and then bring it up again, and you're like...
Yeah, they keep moving goalposts.
Yeah. And it's like, no wonder they're always in trouble with Queen Beryl, because she'll be like, why haven't you captured the Sailor Scouts yet? And they're like, we were harvesting energy. And then she'll be like, why are you messing around with the Sailor Scouts? You're supposed to be harvesting energy. And then she'll be like, why don't you have that silver rock? And you're just like, could you pick a goal, please? What is their goal?
Like classic terrible management.
Absolutely. So yeah, we end with the Sailor Moon's family is watching the photographer on TV, and they're like, did you find your model? And he's like, actually, I've decided I've picked one. I'm not going to have any of these people be my model. Mm-hmm. My new inspiration, I saw her. She was like a moon princess, Sailor Moon. And then he's like, so I'm going to focus on moonscapes, which I'm not even sure is something you can photograph from Earth, but okay, bud.
If you have a telescope.
Yeah, well, that's definitely right up his alley.
So
landscapes, people, moons, these are all the same thing to photograph.
All right, and then what did they say after that?
Well, I will say that they said, they're like, is she some kind of alien? And they're like, no, she's more like a princess. And then the family is watching, and then we cut to Sailor Moon, or Serena, who's dreaming on her bed of being like a model, like a princess model. And then we had Sailor Says.
So in the sub, they're watching him on television, obviously. And he's saying that he's leaving photography. He's going to stop doing photos. And
no, he said he was going to take photos of the moon.
Yeah, no. He was like, I'm going to stop. And the reason why is like, I encountered this amazing young woman. He doesn't talk at all about Sailor Moon or any of that, but he does say she really inspired me, and she talked about how true beauty is from within, and until I can fully grasp that, then I don't want to take any more photos or something like that. And so he's talking about, and if you recall, it's all the things that Darian had said earlier in the sub, and then Sailor Moon had also repeated it to him about true beauty's from within and blah, 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 and like standing up for what's right. And then Luna tells her, you're just repeating what Darian said, like in her little speech. Okay. And then it's another recall back at the end of the episode. So now we've heard it 3 times. And then her family goes, oh man, that sounds like an incredible young woman. I wish our daughter was like that.
Burn.
I know. Like, it's literally, but it's funny because it was literally your daughter.
Yeah. No, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like her family said something, but it was just like, I don't remember what. It wasn't that. Yeah. Interesting.
I thought it was a cute ending. Yeah.
I do like that. I like that. Let's see. I have a couple of comments here. Let's see. Where is it? I pulled up the Sailor Moon Dub wiki just to see what their notes were. First of all, the Nega monster's name was Cameron, which is camera.
Yeah.
I like that. Cameron. And then
not Shutterbuggin.
Not Shutterbuggin. Shutterbug is a better monster name. Then it says trivia. This episode contains Sammy's infamous line, "You're cruising for a bruising," which
Who's Sammy?
Sammy's the brother.
Yeah.
1, I don't remember him saying that. 2, I did not know that was an infamous line for him. 3, do they just mean it's infamous because it's funny? Because like he didn't make that line up. Like that's a thing.
Yeah, that's like
whatever.
That's like a trope, or like a, what do you call it?
So
like a cliche.
That's the only thing I wanted to point out from the trivia was like,
I love the things that the people writing these wikis find interesting.
Yeah, you're like, okay. And then I've got Sailor Says for later.
So Sailor Says.
Yep.
I'm gonna venture a guess. And it would be pretty... Okay, wait. Now I got to think about... Because I was going to say that it was probably about true beauty comes from within. But it seems like they kind of cut a lot of that from the dub. So I'm going to try to guess what they said it was. And I think it's going to be something like... No, you know what? I think I'm just going to go with true beauty comes from within.
You are so right. Yeah, they were like, true beauty comes within. Let's see. It says, we girls spend an awful lot of time primping and trying to look hot. So do you guys, but you don't like to admit it. And then there's a really long pause. And then they said, but there's more to beauty than looks, and being a beautiful person inside where it counts. So remember, beauty is way more than skin deep, and I told you so.
Well, you know what? That's not the worst one we've heard.
No, it was just kind of like, even like they included guys in it was just kind of nice.
I like that. Yeah, because they do.
They didn't just go like, we girls care about our looks, but beauty's more than skin deep. They're like, you guys do too, even if you socially are obliged to pretend that you don't.
Right. I like that.
Yeah,
that was cute.
I appreciated that. That was nice.
A rare moment of equal opportunity.
Yeah, really weird. So yeah, not surprising, but at least on point, considering we've had a few that have just been like out of left field.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually genuinely surprised that they went for that one, especially since it sounds like they cut most of the lines where they were talking about that.
I don't know why they changed. Like, why did they decide to make Damian a model? Darian? I don't know. I actually really love this change, but it's weird.
I know. That's one of the few changes that I'm like, all right, we stand.
Yeah, Darian's history as a model, trying to get himself through school.
Well, and I love that, like, he's a dude, and they're like,
you're right. It makes it not just a girl thing where it's like all these girls are wanting to be a model. He's like, I was a model, and you're like, oh my god, that's so nice. I actually was shocked that they went out of their way to be like, models are talented. It's hard work. Boys can be models. Like, that was cool. I really liked that.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that they didn't make it something worse. Yeah, because in the sub, I'm usually not surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, that's very, like, they're being very intelligent and sweet about it.
But the dub was also kind of on top of things. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so strange.
I mean, they definitely had a lot of people be a lot meaner to Serena, but that's usual.
Yeah. God, they're so mean. I don't remember it being that mean, to be honest. But then I also didn't like Sailor Moon myself.
Yeah, so maybe because everyone's telling you how stupid and bad she is, so of course you don't like her.
That's true.
She's the butt of the joke.
I was such like a contrary little shit that like I think I just hated main characters because I was supposed to like them. So like I was always trying to find like some obscure character to like.
But I will say that like it was a combination of that, but also like I swear like I remember this with Gundam Wing is thinking, well, I didn't like Relena because she was a little like too perfect and like being pushed it. And then I rewatched it recently and it's like, she's definitely not. She's as weird and broken as all the other guys. And I'm like, it was just the internalized misogyny.
Oh, I might need to go back and rewatch that.
Because I was like, holy shit, no, she's pretty fucking crazy just like everyone else.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's got issues. That's why she's always like death wishing her way up to like, yeah, shoot me, hero, go for it. It's like, what the hell? Child.
Wow. Yeah, and Hero
she's got some issues.
Hero, I remember also not really like Hero was the epitome of like the emo. I remember like they kept translating it as instead of I will kill you, it's I will destroy you.
That's right, because you're not allowed to say kill on English children's cartoons. Nobody dies.
Which like, killed. Hey, surprise, surprise, cartoons saying kill or destroy isn't going to do anything.
I love that it creates a lot of these classic villain lines because like they say like weird verb choices other than kill. They'll be like, I will eliminate you. And then you will be, you're like...
Yeah.
Soon
they're just like, they're opening up the source like, what else can we say?
Exactly. It's so funny and it makes them sound, I don't know, like classic cartoon villain. It's just like using weird melodramatic phrases.
All right, so activity. I'm kind of embarrassed.
Okay.
This is what I came up with. It's like, all right. It's not very good.
Real set the bar high here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to manage your expectations for the activity.
All right, my expectations are very low.
All right,
so you can limbo under them.
If you were going to be in a modeling contest and you found that your swimsuit had holes in it, how would you cover them? What would you have laying around the house?
This is a great activity, actually. And if I found that spandex-eating moths had shown up. Yeah. So yeah, my reverse for you is going to be what sort of source other than spandex eating moths could cause a swimsuit to not be appropriate for photography?
That's an easy answer for me.
You just outgrow it?
No, it's that Riker, my other dog, would definitely have eaten it because he has eaten most of my underwear. I don't know how he gets it. Like, I have the laundry basket like on top of a chair, and then I guess he must just like get into it and like pulls them out. That's and then amazing. Destroys them. And then some of them I don't even notice because then I'll just like do laundry, and then I try to put it on and it's just holes.
Tess used to steal socks specifically and carry them off, but she didn't eat them. And I did know someone who said that their dog would eat socks and underwear and poop them out, which is lovely.
I had to take Ripley when she was a puppy to the vet because I watched her. I didn't see her eat the sock, but I did see her throw it up and then eat it again.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, so I took her to the vet so that they could make her throw it back up. But like with Riker, I'm just like, because with Ripley I was so like, oh my god, it's like first child syndrome.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something.
And at this point you're just like, you're just gonna have to tough that sock out, my friend. If you ate it, you get to you get to deal with it.
Yeah.
I do remember Tess pooping out like a piece of Tupperware that she'd eaten. It was very alarming.
Wait, like an intact Tupperware,
like
or just like a piece
of plastic from the Tupperware.
Oh wow!
This is getting very gross very quickly.
Yeah.
But it was like dogs. Like what the heck? So, anyways, I because she used to. Anyways.
So the holes in the suits, I would say, because I believe that Serena just has a bunch of bows laying around, and that's why she was able to just like quickly fix it and attach it. So I'm wondering what you would just have casually laying around that you'd be able to.
First of all, I will say that, ideally when you find holes in your clothes, you like stitch them so that they don't get worse. Yeah. But my recent strategy, because I know that I never get around to it and then they just get bigger and bigger, is that I have some like glue that I just put on it so that it'll stop unraveling. So I would immediately cover my swimsuit in glue.
Yes, great.
Which I love. And then I was like, you got to glue something over the holes. I feel like my collection of plastic bugs would be a bad choice, like fake cockroaches.
Or is it the right choice?
I mean, it would be distinct, and I do love the idea of fake cockroaches glued all over a swimsuit. Like, I think that could be a look.
That's definitely a look. That would make for a really cool photo. Good shutter button.
I forgot to do it this year, but I often hand out fake cockroaches to my students for Halloween.
That's disgusting.
It's very fun.
But it brings new meaning to the word shutterbugging.
Yeah, there we go. I would come appropriately pre-bugged. Other stuff that I have in my house would be like, I mean, could you just like glue like pom-poms?
Do you have pom-poms?
I do have some pom-poms. I don't know why I have them, but I was like, I do have some pom-poms.
You into cheerleading?
No, like, not big pom-poms. Like,
just
little craft pom-poms. But I think, pet fur?
Pet fur?
Yeah, my dog's shedding like crazy. Could I just like add patches of fur all over it? Or maybe just like roll in the fur and I'll come in a furry swimsuit?
Especially if you put glue all over your swimsuit and then roll
around.
Yeah.
I like this thought. Okay, that's my plan. I'm gonna come either buggy or furry. What's your plan?
I think I vote buggy because now you're saying something as well.
Yeah, I feel like buggy like communicates something. Furry is just a little alarming.
Or is it furry is like head into the furry convention?
Well, then I coat myself in glue and roll around in the fur, and then I'm like, yes, I'm furry.
And you show up to the furry convention and you're like, oh, I think I misunderstood the assignment.
That sounds like something that PETA would do.
That who would?
PETA, like roll some lady in fur and put her out on a sidewalk and be like, this is you, you're a bad person. I just saw like for Thanksgiving they have something where they're like, imagine you were getting stuffed for Thanksgiving, and they've got this picture of like a stuffed human that is clearly someone's vor fetish art, but
ew.
It's definitely fetish art that they have used.
Yeah. Don't they like put a lot of animals down themselves? Like, wasn't there an investigative journalist?
They definitely go out of their way to draw attention to them, just
I mean, that's
I am skeptical that they take such a radical view that I'm skeptical that they actually care that much about animals.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I think they're just money grabbers. I'm trying to think what I would have laying around my house, and I feel like it's just ripped up pieces of underwear. I would just like
you're gonna take your ripped up swimsuit and sabotage it or salvage it with other ripped up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Ooh, you could do like a Franken suit. You could combine two different suits together.
Yeah, I could do that. What else do I have laying around? A lot of Post-it notes. I think maybe I could just like do layers of Post-its.
I like that. I feel like a Post-it notes. outfit would be cool. Like, I feel like that's the sort of thing someone would be like, look at this prom dress she made herself. You know how they always... Do you remember, like, when we were in high school, like, the big thing was, like, duct tape prom dresses?
Yes. Yeah.
And
so
like
you could get a scholarship, I think, from
for making a cool duct tape prom dress and wearing it. Like, duct tape would give you a scholarship. What world we live in. But, like,
was it duct tape or was it a magazine or something?
I don't know. I thought it was duct tape, but I don't know. Who knows? Who was funding these dresses?
I know. Like, a lot of people did this, and I'm like, was it a real scholarship?
Was there ever a chance that this would happen?
Or was it, like, a viral rumor that duct tape marketing
I don't know how you did it. Like, I don't know. These people had skills that I didn't have. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, I feel like it's pretty expensive.
Not as expensive as like an actual prom dress.
Well,
you probably
like,
only need a few rolls.
Of duct tape would you need? I feel like you'd need
There's
a lot.
Quite a lot of duct tape in one roll.
But like you have to like double layer it. I just feel like you'd need a lot of duct tape. Maybe you'd only need a few rolls.
Viewers, call in now.
How many rolls of duct tape does it take to make a dress?
Yeah,
it's
I'll
true. Like,
you know what? I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, you know, it's like $200 for a prom dress. That's like at least what, $5 a roll of duct tape. That would get you.
It's like an
like 40 rolls of duct tape. That seems like plenty.
2 to 5 rolls of duct tape.
Okay, yeah, that's cheap. I would.
This is for the form, I guess.
For what?
Hold on, just
like, to make a duct tape form to put a dress on. But even then, like, you could get like 20 rolls of duct tape or something for the price of a prom dress. So.
Oh, this is the wrong thing. This is just a duct tape dress form.
Yeah, that's the thing you make to try your dress on.
How to make a duct tape dress in 10
This is
steps.
getting recursive, though. Imagine you make a duct tape dress form to build your duct tape dress on.
Right. How many times can you say duct tape dress form, duct tape dress on?
Duct tape dress form. It's a little challenging, actually.
Okay, so this says 5 rolls of tape.
Maybe. Depends what type of dress
this is a pretty small dress, though. This is like kind of a short dress. I feel like
if you start doing like a dramatic like skirt and stuff, you're gonna need a bunch more. But
but it's not that many. Like so probably like 10 rolls maybe. You know. So it's not too bad.
I'm sold.
It's like $20. Yeah. We should have done that for our prom.
I feel like it would have just been very sticky. Have you ever tried to make like a duct tape wallet and you're like, no matter how careful you are, there's just like all these sticky edges everywhere?
Sticky. Yeah.
That's what I
Well, yeah, and especially like as it starts breaking down and like the strings kind of start coming out. I mean, but it was like all the rage in the early aughts.
Oh, yeah. So, Serena, you missed your chance. Duct tape swimsuit. You could just tape yourself up with duct tape and call it a swimsuit. Oh, ow. That would hurt.
Ow.
I regretted that as soon as I started thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one way to get rid of all your body hair.
Yeah. It's definitely a way. I don't think it's
not
ideal.
Recommended. Just as we are not real therapists, we are also not skin estheticians.
I was going to say we're not dressmakers. But, suck it in, girls. Suck it in.
Suck it in.
The duct tape will hold it in.
Well, that's true. Yeah, duct tape.
Aren't there always there was some CSI episode where someone got wrapped up in duct tape and they got like burns all over their body somehow. Which I don't think it's an actual thing because CSI makes up shit, but
I'll bet you can get burned though. I mean,
I don't know why. If it was like a reaction to the tape or if they were like suffocating in it, but they had like scarring from the duct tape.
Oh, maybe if you're left in it long enough.
Yeah, I suspect it was like one of those things where they took something that's sort of true, but then like wildly exaggerated it for dramatic episode.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed it.
I mean, why be scientifically accurate when you could be dramatic? All right, so we've gone on about duct tape for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Maybe Sailor Moon should do that for her transformation. She just starts wrapping herself in duct tape. It's like a cocoon. Yeah. I mean, what if you cocoon yourself in it and then you emerge from it like a butterfly? We're really getting the bug aesthetic in.
If you were a Sailor Scout that's based on a bug, or like a type of bug?
See, I wanted to be duct tape Sailor Scout at this point, just because I'm really into this whole like cocoon yourself and then come out.
You could be that too, yeah.
But a bug Sailor Scout, man, that would be cool. Instead of planets, there's a group that's like, because they all have different themes, stars, planets, bugs. Yeah, I think you could do a team of bugs.
Yeah, I would be a butterfly for sure.
Your sailor butterfly.
That's the only bug I can handle. Well, we are over time, so I guess we should finish it out with what we think our Sailor Says are. And also, what's the next episode? So I'll be watching the dub, and you'll be watching the sub.
Well, let's first say what we think our Sailor Says would be.
Okay.
I would say that Sailor Says, when your friend tells you that people are being eaten by cameras, that's a good time to quit the contest.
Yes.
That was the weirdest moment for me in the scene. So
it was kind of a little bit out of character.
It was. Like, normally when it's more like Luna's like, oh, I'm suspicious, and she doesn't believe her, which totally makes sense to me. But Luna going, people have been eaten by a camera, and she's like, whatever. It was just stupid. Like, what are you doing, Sailor Moon?
She was focused. I mean, I expected her to react like, oh my god, Molly and Miss Haruna are about to
Exactly. Like, we gotta save. I think that would have been a better setup, is that like, we gotta go run and save Molly and Miss Haruna. Like, she gets caught up doing something with her swimsuit and then is like, oh no.
Yeah.
So it was a weird choice. It was a weird choice.
What would my Sailor Says be? I just keep fixating on like, if you'll photograph just anybody, then you're a third-rate photographer.
Okay, yeah. Be selective about what you photograph.
I guess, yeah.
Less selfies.
Yeah.
That was an Alison burn.
Yeah. Or also, my other option was Sailor Says.
You're cruising for a bruising.
Cruising for a bruising. Sailor Says, these communicators are for sailor business only.
Oh, God. Don't use the phone lines for casual use.
Yeah. It's just so cute that they have those communicators. I'm like, oh, man, nowadays, like, that would just never have even...
Well, you would just have cell phones. You wouldn't need a communicator. But back then, it was a big deal, right?
Yeah. Like, of course she would call her friends immediately.
Anywhere? Yeah. I would be super into that.
It was so cute, too. It has, like, their little video of their face.
Yeah, a little video screen and everything.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was really cute.
They were FaceTiming.
Yeah, before it was cool. I remember back when, like, I know we're supposed to end, but, like...
Yeah, no, I'm checking what the next episode is called.
Yeah, so as you're looking that up, I remember in the first series of Pokemon, like, the anime, they had, like, little video phones, and, like, that's how they would communicate with, like Ash would call his mom or Professor Gray or whatever his name was. And it would be like on this little computer TV screen. And I remember thinking when I was watching that, because I think I was in like 5th grade or something, 5th or 6th grade, when I was watching that, I was like, oh man, one day in the future, we're going to have video calling. Isn't this so technologically advanced? And then like...
And now we live
Now it's just in your phone. But they had to like go to a center or something.
Yeah.
Like,
and we're just like, hey, it's on my computer. It's free.
Yeah. Everything.
It's amazing.
Everything is
amazing.
We're video chatting right now.
For free.
Yeah.
I guess sort of free. We are paying for internet somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Were you able to? I love that I just rely on you to do it.
The next episode in English, which is what you're watching, is called Dangerous Dollies. Sounds awesome. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And then in Japanese, it's called Shingo's Love. Shingo's the brother, right?
Yeah.
Shingo's Love, the Grieving Doll, which honestly sounds fantastic. I'm excited.
Yeah, that sounds horrifying. Because Dangerous Dollies makes me feel like it's a Dolly Parton like romp. Like Dolly Parton is like going on.
I'm into haunted doll episodes.
Yeah.
And a haunted doll episode where the little brother's in love with the doll sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, but he's got a crush on a little girl.
Oh, maybe she's got the haunted
that goes
doll.
to his school. Yeah. So that might make sense.
You're right, because that was in the episode I didn't watch because it was not translated.
Because they just didn't bother translating it. But yeah, they introduced a little girl that he's got a little bit of a crush on, and then it didn't go anywhere. And we're like, 17 episodes in? So like, I guess now maybe it's time to
maybe we'll return. Or maybe we'll never return. And then I would like to point out that not next episode, or not the one after next, but the one after that is not translated. So we're going to have another one where we skipped an episode. So it'll be interesting to find out why.
Yeah. Ooh, that'll be intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on Sailor Moon Therapy Hour. We'll see you next week.
Guys, take good care of yourselves and your mental health.
Yes. And watch anime.
Exactly. Those are the same thing.
Yeah, of course. All right,
see you next week. Bye, guys.